everyone. So I don't have a script or anything for this. What I'm trying to do here is I'll most probably go and install Linux on my machine, and I want to do it from scratch, like not just get a distro like Ubuntu or Pop! OS and like use the GUI as you do in Windows. I want to do this from scratch. I want to learn it. I'll probably give myself the next 10 or 11 days to do that. Uh, I do not want to rush it and like not just go through tutorials. Yeah. Not just go through tutorials and do it without learning a thing. Uh, I feel this might give me an insight into how Linus Torvalds made this, like how Linux is actually made and how the systems in that run. Uh, I was I started with this video. I mean, I was watching other videos as well. I've earlier installed Pop! OS and Manjaro once on the same machine. Like I dual booted it. It also had Windows, and for about 3 to 4 months, I uh, Pop! OS was my main operating system that I used, and not Windows. Uh, yeah, so you can go and watch this video. I had already started this. I'll just continue it so you can maybe start it. And I feel the intro part is very, very important. Just go through it. It's just 10 seconds or what? 40 seconds. Yeah, so let's get started. I'll also be taking a few notes here and there. Uh, yeah, like that's a good idea. So one thing I got to know from the video was like there is something called the init system, there is something called display server, and there is something called the desktop environment. You might be aware of these things. I want to build it from scratch and like want to learn how the drivers interact as well with the OS. Uh, One thing I learned here was uh, Gentoo is Gentoo is an OS like, uh, in which you compile everything. You do not get any binaries for any applications. You have to compile even Firefox. Like he mentioned in the video that uh, I think it was another video in that he mentioned that in Firefox, like to compile Firefox, you cannot do it in the morning or you're working hours. You are when you are going to sleep, just start it then. That's what he mentioned. So I don't want to go as scratch as Gentoo, uh, but Arch is a good starting point, I guess. Like Arch has also improved. Like you must have heard the phrase, "I use Arch," by the way. Uh, that is just people telling you that they use a superior operating system in essence. It is I, you cannot call an operating system superior. It's just that you have to put in efforts to make it work. That is where the phrase comes from. And uh, in 2021, I guess, uh, installation has improved for Arch. So I don't think I use Arch, by the way, is anymore. I mean, it's still relevant, but it's not as impactful as it used to be. Yeah, these are some of the examples. Like systemd is an init system, runit is an init system, and I'm not sure the display server and how it works. Uh, Desktop environment, I have Manjaro uses KDE as far as I know. You'll be seeing me coming back to this video throughout this process, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to take 10 days, but I'm letting it because I want to learn the ins and okay, we get to learn something new every day. I think we'll learn a lot here. We grow is a user group where the user may act as super user using sudo. Yeah, one thing I want to emphasize here is I'm doing this for myself and not for you. So I would like I want to learn here. So I will go through all the man pages that I can. At least that's what I intend to do, what I've set out to do. So yeah, as you can read the man pages. PassWD is used for setting passwords, and like this is the main usage of it. For user password. Very useful. All recommend first snapshot and you can read this, right? General guideline, password should be long and random. Or you can use a password manager. Use a password manager. What commands do you have? Command page. Data user add, right? User add. User. Yep, we have command page for user add. There are update default user information and manage your user account using the values specified on the command line or values from the system. To have a user, like by default you are in the root. So that access using password or regular user. I'm not sure what does regular, what regular means here. But I'm not sure. Regular. Here. Of course, it will have access in any way. I've seen this at many places. I don't know what meaning of TTY is. In computing, TTY is command file name. The typewriter is a communication by people who are deaf typewriter file name of out computing is a command in Unix file name the terminal like um I think in Unix TTY prints out this like, as you can see in the video. Typing computer system is connected to advanced that when kernels are of this form of data something like since have on computer applications for quite some time. They have begun like faster, more convenient to of course nowadays we don't from terminals use programs not really done. They're called terminal. The terminal the starting of runs or initially you can run Okay. So stand. There is a lot to unpack here. TTY, the terminal application that you open is just an interface that attaches to one of these terminal sessions. So terminal application here is the teletypes. Here emulating super
to etc snowers file, and what line does is it prevents you from having to give a root password a second time if you spawn an additional terminal where you're going to run root command. Now, obviously, this is less secure, and you also don't need this if you do a password option, which is also obviously less secure, but I enjoy it and you might as well. So I'm going to go ahead and you also don't need it a second time if you spawn an additional terminal where you're going to run root command. Now, obviously, this is less secure, and you also don't need this if you do the no password option, which is also obviously less secure, but I enjoy it and you might as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save this file, and now we're going to move on to a graphical environment. Now, typically, oh, I gotta add an exclamation point to write it because it's read only. Now, typically, people would want to use a desktop environment as their graphical interface, but you could also use a window manager. The main difference is that with a graphical environment, it's more of a bundle environment as a now, typically, people would want to use a desktop environment.
listen to this carefully. It says typically people use desktop environments, but you can use a window manager instead. And manager. For this, for my project, I put I would most probably go with if I need to use one desktop environment, I like it. It's just that my computer is running quite slow. I'm not sure if it's streaming or what, or just the hardware is quite old already. I used to think like to give it a fresh install, it would run as was running on day one. They did not. I'm not sure.
as the graphical interface, but you could also use a window manager. The main difference is that with a graphical environment, it's more of a bundle of software. So it comes with a file manager, it comes with a text editor, maybe it also comes with some type of office as well. And the window manager is just, as the name implies, a window manager. Windows. So it's a lot more minimalist if you go with the window manager option,
Yes.
and it's a lot more customizable because you can really pick and choose what additional software you want to use with it. Now, in order to have an actual graphical environment, regardless of whether you go with the desktop environment or the window manager route, you're going to need Xorg. So to install that, have an actual graphical environment, regardless, because you can really pick and choose what additional software you want to use with it. Now, in order to have an actual graphical environment, regardless of whether you go with the desktop environment or the window manager route, you're going to need Xorg. So to install that on Arch, we're going to do Pacman S and Xorg server and Xorg xinit. And I'll let you know up front that if you're going to be using a desktop environment, then you probably don't need to manually install Xorg and its other utilities. Regardless of whether you go with the desktop environment or the window manager route, you're going to need Xorg. So to install that on Arch, we're going to do Pacman S and Xorg server and Xorg xinit. And I'll let you know up front that if you're going to be using a desktop environment, then you probably don't need to manually install Xorg and its other utilities because a full desktop environment will typically put those in as dependencies when you install them. So you could just go ahead and install XFCE or whatever type of desktop environment you're going to use, and that'll get your graphical manager or your graphical environment rather up and running. But I'm going to be doing things manually because, like I said, I'm going to be using the window manager. Now, the window manager that I'm going to use is DWM. And the thing
Oh my God. TWM. I'll, I'll see my choices. Clicking this.
about DWM is that it doesn't really make sense to have a binary of it since we changed it. I'm going to use DWM. And the thing about DWM is that it doesn't really make sense to have a binary of it since we changed the configs, hotkeys, color, and extended functionality through editing the source code directly. So if you want to use DWM as well, you'll have to get the source code and compile it yourself, either from GitHub or from DWR. I'm just going to clone my config from GitHub though, because I've already spent some time setting it up the way that I like in Gentoo. Git clone github.com mental outlaw DWM. And by the way, if you're going to clone it from GitHub, you should go ahead and install Git because
Uh, for the given want to have many of your own, not recommended. It does not make sense. Does not make sense to binary law and code and compile yourself.
it's not installed by default. And I'm also going to clone the menu since that's the
Question here for any kind of customization are you required customize the source code, compile it for any kind of customize it all those not config file. I mean, it is not right. It is not right. Also, the programs that files configuration may be larger in size since they do accommodate further changes.
Suckless utility for the install Git because it's not installed by default. And I'm also going to clone the menu since that's the Suckless utility for the for selecting programs from your menu, and that should be compiled locally as well. And then I'm just going to sequence your directories and go ahead and make them. Let me see, why did that fail? T. Maybe I have to install my farms and then build it again. Go into the same thing. Oh, actually, that's failing because I don't have Xarama or XFT installed, so I gotta go ahead and take care of those. just so that my particular thing will work. If you're not going to be using those X programs, then you're not going to have to actually do the part. So I'm going to pacman s libxft libx interrama.
File depicts file and not empty. What package is qualified as like does it have anything to no sort left font font and font the same thing, but why did it have the prefix lib in it? I have to fix this.
And let's see if everything builds correctly now. All right, dmenu built. And DWM still didn't build correctly. Let's see, shift view dot c file or directory. Oh, wait, did I not? Huh, I must not have created my repository correctly because it's one of my patches. Okay, let me actually pause the video real quick because that's a bit of an oversight on my end. All right, it just goes to show you that even after using Linux for a while, you can still make stupid mistakes. So I have that piece of code that was missing, shift-u.c. Now, if I make an install, PWM is consolata is the font that a file, and RSVT is in consolata, and RSVT is of course my terminal.
Yeah, font.
PCMan. And RSVT is of course my terminal. PCMan FM is a file manager, and TCF
FM, okay, file. So what all do we window manager? file management. Still, there's something burning in my lamp. It's not.
In Consolata is the font that I'm going to use. And you can also install other fonts like Linux Libertine, whatever fonts work for you. You could also just install a font package, which is a bunch of fonts bundled together. A common one is Noto fonts, which is basically just a bunch of free fonts. Now, once all of your packages have been installed, we want to tell xinitRC, which is the file that
How is he
Xinit
recording the screen?
reads when you start
How is he recording the screen?
x command, which is the file that Xinit reads when all of your packages, which is a bunch of fonts bundled together. A common one is Noto fonts, which is basically just a bunch of free fonts. Now, once all of your packages have been installed, we want to tell xinitRC, which is the file that Xinit reads when you start x command, to basically run all of your graphical stuff. So we want to we want to log in as our user. We want to create an RC. I'll just type it out here, exec xfce for session. And if you run into problems, I highly suggest that you read the Arch Wiki or the Gentoo Wiki for any special requirements that your desktop environment or window manager may need. Now, another thing that I know I need on my system is XF86 Video Intel, and this is necessary for certain Intel systems. Forgot the S command, or the S switch rather. So yeah, this is necessary for certain Intel systems. If you're on AMD, then obviously you're not going to need this, but if you find yourself getting some Xorg server error when you go to start X, installing this package will often fix it. And another kind of general thing that a lot of newer Linux users don't know about is that you have multiple TTYs running. And the TTY is just this black screen that you see here. It's basically a terminal, but not a like fully featured terminal where you can spawn a bunch next to each other. But yeah, if you run into some type of weird graphical error where you just can't fix it and like you can't really get to this terminal screen here to actually do what you need to do to fix it, you can just do Alt and then the left and right arrow keys, which
And
to another TTY, and you actually have six of them. So you can do that, or you can do Alt and like F3 to go to the third one, F4 to go to the fourth one, etc. All right, now I should have everything that I need to go ahead and actually use a GUI on my system. I'm just going to go ahead and switch to full screen so that we can actually enjoy a nice full screen system. And then I just have to start X.
Is he recording? Or running instant level full machine. Likely the second one.
And then boom, it goes ahead and it starts up to start X. And then boom, it goes ahead so that we can actually enjoy a nice full screen system. And then I just have to start X.
That's start, start.
And then boom, it goes ahead and it starts up DWM for me. And my RxVT Unicode looks really ugly right now because I don't have a config file for it yet. Usually what I do, I think I've already made a video showing how, yeah, I did make one showing how I set up URXVT, but basically you just install XRDB and then you need to add to your, I'll go into it, even though this is probably harder to see, let me actually quit out of X and then do it this way. So what you would do is you would install XRDB, and then you would just have exec XRDB up here. Oh, actually, you want to do something like that, so that runs right after another. And then you would go ahead and define your color scheme inside of X resources. And I also have a video of how to do that, where you can
RC dash RC dash RC in that also run dash RC for commands or
just use terminal.sexy. It's this online website where you can very easily configure a color scheme for
terminal terminal dot
website where you can very easily configure a color scheme for your X resources, and then, like I said, exec and define your color scheme inside of X resources. And I also have a video of how to do that where you can just use terminal.sexy. It's this online website where you can very easily configure a color scheme for your X resources. And then, like I said, exec XRGB is going to make X automatically pull that color information and then replicate it in your terminal. So that's pretty much it for what I do on my systems. Now, some people prefer to have a login screen that comes up when they boot their system because without one, what you'll get is, well, let's go ahead and show you.
Yes.
So this would be your BIOS screen. Course, and then this is the screen you get with Grub to go ahead and boot Arch Linux. But when you do that, you just get this TTY login that you see right here. So, like I said,
Fine.
some people don't like this. They would prefer for it to be
Some people can install it and some login. I am good at my
like a GUI login screen or something like that instead. So what you could do is go Pacman S, I believe it's Light DM. Yeah, so this is a really lightweight login manager. And because the login manager is something that we want to start pretty much right when we start our system, we have to create a system service for it as well. And the command
unlog start system the command the
do that is sudo systemctl enable lightdm service. And like I said, the reason we need to do that is because whenever we start our system up, we don't want to have to run any commands to make that login manager start. We just want to come directly to it. So now we should be able to reboot and have that come up instead. Hopefully that's all you need to do. It's been a while since I've ever used a login manager. Okay, so something about it failed. Let me see if I can figure that out for you guys. All right, so I got LightDM working. There were a few steps that needed to be done, so I'll show you guys on the other TTY the steps that I had to take. So the most important thing was setting up
Just failed to solve the problem. Right.
The DWM.desktop file that gets called on by LightDM. So I'll show you guys what it looks like in user share. So I created this folder X sessions right here. You might have it already, but if you don't, just go ahead and create it. And then inside of X sessions,
Where is it? Where is it?
I created this file here,
Oh, section.
dwm.desktop. And if I cat that out, you can see what's inside of it, just a few lines. But the main one, actually I'll just get into it. The main one is this one here because DWM obviously didn't get installed with Pacman. So the root of the problem with LightDM seems to be that it's just not sure where to actually run DWM from, but this tells it where DWM is. This is where it would be if you compiled it from GitHub, regardless of whether you use mine or not. Even if you install DWM, it'll be in this folder here. So I did that, and then the other thing that
DWM was not installed using Pacman. More information required for other programs. Reference path. File reference software.
I did was inside of Etsy, lightdm.conf, I had to uncomment this line here. And then after I rebooted, LightDM was actually working. It was on this other TTY. I don't know why it's gone now. Let's just go ahead and reboot again. And I'll show you guys logging into LightDM. This is kind of the reason why I don't use it though, because like I said, you can just start your graphical environment with StartX.
It seems amazing.
To root into our Arch installation. So Arch, root, MNT, then bash. And you may have noticed that my command prompt here changed. Now, this is because we have changed root from our USB or virtual CD drive, since I'm in VirtualBox, into our actual Arch Linux installation. So if I were to pwd here, it tells us that we're in root. We're no longer in MNT. And if I ls, you can recognize some of these folders. It's all of the folders that you would typically have in a Linux root file system. And we also have access to Pacman now, which is the package manager in Arch, pretty much the same thing as apt if you're coming from Ubuntu. So now we want to install some very basic tools like a network manager so that we can actually have internet, and Grub so that when we boot the machine, we don't have to do so manually. So Pacman S, network manager, and Grub. So this is going to install both of those tools. Pacman, when we boot the machine, we don't have to do so manually. So Pacman S, network, actually have internet, and
I watched this video. That's a wrap, guys.